Hi everyone, welcome to this tutorial video where I'm going to create a custom header beam connection in Revit 2019. So this is the latest version of the software and I'm going to look at the steel tab at the top. So I'm going to create a custom connection, but first of all I'm going to model the parts and then save it as a connection, and then I can utilize it for reuse within the model. So the first thing I'm going to do is create the header connection endplates. I'm going to set my reference plane on the end of the beam, and then I'm going to draw the plate into position. So I'm going to drag this down to about there and then set the distance of 500 and then create my plate. I've got a visibility feature on this, so it just highlights my plates in blue. If you want to have a look, you'll see that there is the plate in position, and I want to move that into the correct location, so I'll just put that there. If we go back and look at the 3D view, so that is the header plate there. I want to create another plate underneath the adjoining beam, so I'm just going to orbit my model around so I can see it, and again set my reference plane, and again I pick it, and let's pick the underside, then the plate tool, and then it's a simple case of coming from that position to about, let's say, somewhere there, and again we can adjust it to 500 long, and that is the plate, and again I make that 10 millimeters in size. If we have a look, you will see that there's the end plate and there's the plate underneath. If I change this to wireframe, and I just change it to a medium level of detail, you will see that I have a distance between where I need to shorten that column. So before I shorten it, I'm just going to quickly check that distance, which is 215, and if I add the 10 millimeters of the plate, I can just put that back to fine detail. I can apply a shortening to the column. So if I select the column and then I just go to steel and then shorten, that will apply a shorten onto the beam, and if we just, you will see this in wireframe as we toggle around. So select the beam, there's the beam shortening, and if we go 225, we have a look at the elevation, and if you wish you can do it in the 3D view. You can see that the column is now shortened down to the underside of the steel plate. So that is the plates in position. And if I just change this back to a shaded view, I'm now going to put in the bolt connections. So I just go to bolt, it says select the elements to connect, so it's going to be the column plus the plate, click enter and specify the face, and then I want to do a bolt pattern from about there to there, click OK, and then we can adjust the properties of the bolt through the dialogs. The first thing is I'm going to select the type of bolt. I'm going to use an XOX, and I'm going to use 16mm bolts. It's going to be 3 in a row and then 1. Let's go with, actually let's put 2 in. So I went with 3 distributed. If I change the length on one side to 150 and the distance to 75 apart, if we actually, let's put in 125 and we change the distance to 60. So you can see there we can bolt the connection like that. Then I want to put in the next set of bolts on the underside. So again I go to bolt, set, I'm actually going to go to bolt, pick the parts to connect, which are the 2 plates on the beam, enter, then select the face, then I draw the rectangle from that point to, and just make sure I find the face of the plate at the end point, confirm that position, and then it's the same case of setting the bolt type, which again I should have chosen XOX. I'm going to choose the 16mm, there's going to be 3, the distance is 150, and again we'll set them to 60mm apart. I click apply and OK, and you'll see there you get the bolts now connecting. So we've added in the end plate, the bolt. We can add in some stiffeners now if we wish. What I tend to do for this is I'm going to go to a medium level of detail, and I'm going to put plate on the end. So I'm going to go to plate and add in the stiffener plate, set the reference plane, so I'm going to pick it so it's here again, and then I'm going to draw a plate from here to here into position. You will see that it won't show in medium, but once we go to fine, the plate is now visible. Set that to 10 millimeters. And you can see there's the little stiffener plate. What I tend to do is go into a plan view. The stiffener plate is selected, and then I use the move tool. I'm going to move it from that position to that position. So if we go back and have a look, you'll see there's the stiffener plate in position. I can again select it. I tend to do a lot of this when I have the plate selected, and then we can mirror it along the very center line. If we have a look in 3D, I've chosen the wrong center line, so I want to mirror it, that beam in level 2. It's actually in this position, so then we just mirror it along that line, and we go back and we have a look. So we've created stiffener one side and a stiffener the other. So you can put in additional stiffeners on the column, diagonal stiffeners. Again, it's just a matter of configuring the connection the way that you want it. And now to create the custom connection, which is the real time saving bit, I select the column, then the beam, go to steel, add in a connection. It will put in what we call a generic connection, and then I can click the connection and then click customize. So I'm just going to call this header beam, and we select OK, and then Revit gives us the ability to add objects, and I do a window around the additional plates, the shortening, the stiffeners and the bolts, and then I can click finish, and that will create a header beam connection. And to show you that, if we select this in play, we select the beam on the column, we then go to steel, connection, and then you simply pick your new connection type from the drop down. It will be a generic connection under header beam, and then we select it, and you'll see Revit will go off, shorten the beam, put in the connection. So really simple, and that's how we create a header beam connection using Revit and custom connections.